Good morning, Facebook. We're live. We're about to do the radio show this week. This show's going to air May 6th and 7th.
May 6th and 7th.
May 6th and 7th. What's your income plan? So sit back, relax, and watch as we do the radio show.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Recording when you're ready.
Good morning, folks. This is Greg Ellie of the Prosperity Group Advisors, LLC, and I'm here with Steve Lewis, my friend and associate, as we are on discussing today about what is your income plan. What is your income plan? Now, I want to let our listeners know that we also show this show live on Facebook, so you can go to Prosperity Group at Facebook and look up our information. You can email us. We'll certainly send you the links. Folks, our phone lines are actually open during the show. The phone number is 864-989-0176, 864-989-0176. If you're out of the area, you can call 1-800-440-0434. That's 1-800-440-0434. Now, our office is located in Greer. It's really just about a mile from the Michelin Building, southeast of the Parkway, at 20 Parkway Commons Way. We've been there for the last 8 years. 8 years, boy, that time flies, you know. And we are available for consultation. So listen, folks, if you are listening to the show and we touch on subjects that are of interest to you, and today what we're discussing is this, and this is extremely important. What is your income plan? What is your income plan? Again, our phone lines are open during the show, and you can email us at greg@mymoneyissafe.com or steve@mymoneyissafe.com. And we focus on all forms of things on retirement, as this is called a stress-free retirement show, where we aim to make your retirement as stress-free as possible. Steve, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. Feeling a little older today. I understand I just had a birthday, and I understand that you're about to have a birthday.
That's right, Steve.
So you're feeling older.
Yeah, you're about 22, and I'm going to be 31.
Exactly.
There you go. There you go. So I feel a little older, you know, just turning just over 30, right? Folks, my nose is growing longer as I'm telling this story right now, if you know what I mean. But, well, first of all, happy birthday, Steve, to you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And happy early birthday to you, my friend.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's good to be around. So,
yeah.
Well, listen, you know, we're talking about an income plan, and one of the big things that we see with folks is a lot of them do not have an income plan. They take their 401ks, they roll it over with some company-sponsored bank or something like that, which is supposed to help all of their problems. But here's the way I see it, Steve. And in fact, we had a conversation with somebody yesterday about this, is what are you going to do if the market takes a hit, 30 or 40%? What happens to your income plan? What happens to your retirement date? And that's the big problem that exists with all of this.
You know, we always talk about the economy and that kind of thing, but a little while back, there was a story about United Airlines. You might have heard of that. There was a gentleman that was on the plane who was taken off by force. And, you know, what happened with United's stock after this whole huge fiasco happened was their stock took a huge hit.
Right.
And so what if your retirement is in a company like that, or you know, it doesn't have to just be the economy. It doesn't have to just be things that happen outside that. What if you're heavily invested in something or a segment that all of a sudden turns south? Your income plan, your strategy just went kaplooey.
And what happened to the friendly skies there? You know?
Yeah, not so friendly.
I saw Governor Chris Christie. He'd been on TV a couple of weeks ago, talking about this very subject, and he was pretty bold. You know, not very pro-United, and I think you're going to see some reforms take place. I flew a 9-hour flight from Washington to San Francisco. Thinking, okay, I'll watch a movie. I'll be able. It was boring. We did nothing. You know, on my computer, trying to write on my book, trying to do this and that. It was the most boring flight I've ever seen. I'm like, you know, we're canned like sardines, and now they don't even, they want to charge you for luggage. And anyway, it's interesting the way these things have become, and it's because people aren't speaking up.
No, you're exactly right. And actually, as I was thinking about that, thinking about you flying, it's kind of interesting because, you know, people that don't see us on Facebook Live, they don't know what we look like or whatever, and we meet people all the time that hear us on the radio, and I hear a couple of different times they look at you and go, wow, I didn't realize you were so tall. But I can imagine you sitting on a plane. I mean, with me, I'm much shorter than you are, and it's very uncomfortable for me. But for you, you've got your knees into your chin, I'm sure. And
I'll tell you, it's I'm okay with my legs most of the time. The problem is the seat width with my hips. So that's why I've got to lose about 80 pounds. If I lose 80 pounds, I'll be a little bit more comfortable. Not that much more, but just a little bit.
I was going to throw out the hips don't lie, but that's probably not appropriate at this point.
Yeah,
So
it sounds
sorry.
like a song.
Oh man! But anyway, my point was, talking about United is that there's you make yourself so vulnerable, even and you don't realize how vulnerable you are. Not just the economy, not just what's going on globally, which we didn't even really talk about with the threat of a potential even war with Russia and the United States, and I mean there's all kinds of drums being beat right now, and the economy, the market is just sort of bouncing around. I mean, it doesn't take those huge events for something like that to happen. Even just something like this, a huge PR fiasco, if you're heavily invested in them, your whole income plan is totally changed.
Well, one of the big problems, I'll read 7 points that people need to know. One of the big problems to an income plan is market risk. The other one would be sequence of returns. Interest rate risk, meaning somebody sticks their IRA in the bank and they're not making enough money, and they're drawing, say, 4 or 5%, they're only making 1% on their CD. Inflation risk, where the inflation increases, but their income does not keep up with it. Longevity risk, meaning they outlive their income, and if they withdraw too much money. Talk to someone, call from the radio, and he said, well, I'm drawing X amount of money. I mean, we ran a report. He runs out of money at 74 years old, and he's 62 right now because he's needing the money right now. So one of the big problems is what to do with income. Another problem, Steve, and people don't consider this, they stick the money in the market. They got $400,000 in their 401k. They get in at the wrong time in the market. They're down to $250,000 to $300,000. They're panicking. They're going back to work. And here's the other problem, Steve. Most of these accounts, it only covers one person's life. So that means if they die, their spouse is going to get the short end of the stick. So what happens is there's no lifetime income for the spouse or the husband. And here's the other thing. A lot of the income plans that we've seen this on the brokerage side. People go to the Wall Street casino. It's truly a casino. And what ends up happening is they put them into a variable annuity or something like that. And that variable annuity, they give up the principal for income. And so the wife has no options if they're lucky enough to have a lifetime income for both of them. And here's the other thing, Steve. Their income never increases, so it never keeps up with inflation. And at the Prosperity Group, we solve these problems 99% of the time for our clients. In fact, I would say 100% of the time, if they follow the right steps, we are giving them an income plan that is second to none, and will incorporate the Social Security strategy to fit with the income plan. You see, I think a lot of people's income plans is Social Security. They figure, well, Social Security will take care of the hedge, the difference, if you will. So it's a problem that many retirees face and they never address, which is their income plan. So folks, our phone lines are open. You can reach us at 864-989-0176. We have operators that will answer you, and you need to request an income plan for yourself. Would you like an income plan? Also, do you want a Social Security plan? So folks, we are offering a Social Security maximization plan and an income plan. Something I want to mention, we can talk about a little bit. One of the things that very few advisors talk about, Steve, is we can show them a tax-free income plan. And that's where it gets exciting. We ran some numbers from someone. Now listen to me, folks, because you need to pull over and hear what we're saying. If you are under 65 years old, if you're 65 and below, and you have a net worth of $2 million, we have a way that we can get a bank to contribute to your retirement. Did you hear what I said? A bank will contribute to your retirement. So we'll talk about that on the next segment, folks. You can reach us at 864-989-0176, 989-0176. This is Greg Elling and Steve Lewis with the Prosperity Group.
Facebook Live, just so nobody's freaking out. My birthday wasn't last week, and Greg's isn't next week. This show airs May the 6th and 7th, so we're just being sort of time appropriate for what's going on.
So you guys get to hear the show before anybody else hears the show.
There you go.
You know, it amazes me, like when we saw these folks yesterday, and I think it got their attention. The fact is, their income plan that they currently have doesn't solve their problem.
Yep.
I think that became very apparent.
Yep.
And yet they're paying how much in fees to solve that income plan?
It was like, it was like 3.5, almost 4%.
3.5, almost 4% that they were
Yep.
paying. And when we said no fees, she looked at me twice. And she looked at me and her eyes kind of perked up. She's like, no fees. I said, that's 3.5%. In 10 years, you know how much that is? 35%.
That's right. And don't forget, though, they have netted 1% every year
Yeah.
that they've been in that program.
Yeah.
They are killing it.
Well, and unfortunately, I think they know it, you know.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate in that regard. Okay, on the song, Joe, let's go with You I'm Born Again
Okay.
on the song.
I'm recording when you're ready.
Hang on here. Where we talk about risk to income. Okay. Great. All right, folks, welcome back. As we discuss today, what is your income plan? What is your income plan? And the song that you heard was a song that my wife and I did in 1987 called With You I'm Born Again, made popular by Billy Preston and Sarita. And the song has a little bit of a different twist to it as we were singing For the Lord, and started doing that in the 80s, and something that I'm actually doing again, and you'll probably be hearing about it as we talk about things. But today we're discussing income plan, and Steve, one of the things that I think differentiates us from a lot of groups is the fact that we have an income plan that can be potentially tax-free if it fits the folks, if it fits the people's situation. And that's that tax-free plan. In fact, we talked about this, and I mentioned it at the other end of the show. If they have a net worth, folks, hear me very carefully. If you have a net worth of $2 million or more, and you have assets, we have a bank that will add to your assets. Now, listen to me very carefully. This is a very, very unique plan. We are probably one of the only groups in the area that does this. And let me give you some numbers based on someone's account that we looked at. They were putting in, I believe, $300,000 into the account. And the bank, over the course, and this is a 11-year plan, the bank will add, this is not a fly-by-night bank. The bank will add, I believe, about $1 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
Almost $1 million.
Yep.
They put in $300,000. They add $1 million, and they would start this because of the person's age. This person would have about a $2 million death benefit, but then they'd have access in 15 years to about $1 million of death benefit, and I think the income was close to $70,000 a year, tax-free. Tax-free, folks. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Does that mean free of tax?
That means free of tax, legally free of tax.
Free of tax.
Yes, yeah, you have to throw that in.
Yeah.
And so just by placing the money in there, and there's I think there's a book called Other People's Money.
Oh yeah.
And when you're in a position like that, folks, if you have a net worth like that, this is not a gimmick. This is something that is used very frequently, and you're going to be hearing more about this. But these people, and here's the thing, folks, they were putting in this $300,000 over a 5-year period. This was not a lump sum transaction. They're putting it over a 5-year period. The bank puts in money in a 5-year period. Then the bank continues to fund it for another 6 years. It's pretty amazing.
So let me ask you a question. How much of, if I'm that person, how much of my life do I have to sign away? I have to sign away my house and my children and their children's children. I mean, how much do I have to sign away for the bank to do that?
Well, Steve, you don't have to sign anything. You are not signing a note for that money because it's a non-recourse. Now, why is that? Because the bank knows so much that these accounts, these IULs, if you will, perform so well that basically the question you're going to ask folks is, why would the bank be willing to loan the money? Because the bank is virtually guaranteed to double their money in 11, I believe it's 11 years or 15.
It's right at 15. I believe.
15 years. So they double their money in 15 years. They have minimal risk. They've got minimal outlay because they're not dumping it all in lump sum. So it's not like they're dumping $1 million at once. They're dumping it over 11 years. And then they're cashing in on it in the 15th year. They're doubling their money. So they are willing to give you that money in exchange for a profit. And what happens is they cash in year 15, and year 16, you can trigger the income. So again, listen to the numbers, folks. The person puts in $300,000 over 5 years. The banks puts in $1 million over 11 years. And year 15, the person, which at that point would be about 70 years old, which is right around the time they have to start taking their required minimum distribution, they're going to get an income of $70,000 a year tax-free.
That's powerful. I
So
mean,
folks, if you want an income plan like that, you need to give us a call. And this is not a gimmick. You give us a call and we will show you if this is a fit for you, then it's something that's worth looking. If you are not at that level, okay, don't let that intimidate you. We've got an income plan for you. We can use a company that will use an increasing income plan for both you and your wife. But now I want to put a caveat out there, Steve. What would you say the biggest fear should be of our listeners when they hear about income plans? Because we've seen them all.
well, that they're going to run out of money, I would think.
Well, that they're going to run out of money, and also many of the income plans, it's not real money.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
And that's, to me, that's crucial. So
Yeah.
what happens, they hear from this person, oh, company's going to give you a 40% bonus,
Right.
or the company's going to give you 8% a year. Sounds great. They think they're getting an 8% return when this is an account that's being credited for income, which is a good thing. They're being credited for income, but many people don't realize that's not their death benefit. It's not their money. And they have to live X amount of years just to get their own money back.
You know, we sat with somebody yesterday, and they had a 400% guaranteed increase in their plan if they waited for a certain period of time to take their money. And you pointed out that was so bogus because that was after they turned 70 and a half, which means that they would have already had to take money out, which means the 400% didn't even matter anyway.
It wasn't even on the table.
So it looked good on paper, but it was nothing.
Well, and guess what? They're paying 1% for that benefit.
Right.
Does that sound like a fictitious benefit, Steve?
To me, it does. And as we talked about on the break, they actually were paying a total in this program of between 3.5% and 4% in fees, and they were netting an astounding 1% average every single year. And we keep looking at new statements coming in.
1%.
Yeah,
That's exciting.
that's a home run, right? And we keep looking at statements coming in every single day of clients of ours that are just killing it. We had another
Right.
one just the other day that was 16 or something percent.
16% on our
Yeah.
tax-free account. Actually, I had a client, 18.31% on
Wow.
the tax-free
That's
account.
amazing.
He's a little bit excited.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
You know, and he locks in his gains, so he's got no risk. So folks, listen to us. Call our number at 864-989-0176. We've been in the upstate. I've been in the upstate myself, oh goodness, since 1990. Consistently here since 1994, so that's 22 years in the upstate.
That's
that
when I was
living
born,
here.
by the way. I was just born in 1990, so yeah, that's cool.
You're showing my age, Steve. You're showing my age, huh? Or have you contributed to any of these white hairs? I want to know? Well, listen, folks, give us a call and request a Social Security maximization report. We'll put together a Social Security max plan, how to properly take your Social Security. Call and request an income plan, an exclusive income plan for you. You can call us at 864-989-0176. Folks, if you have a 401k, you're able to do what's called an in-service rollover. This, we will formulate your income, your 401k so that it fits into an income plan. If you do not roll that over into a proper income plan, you are not maximizing your 401k. So give us a call. We're out of time this segment, folks, and tune in as we talk about what's your income plan. Steve, you weren't able to do that MP3 yet, right?
She's not sent it to me. I talked to her about it again yesterday.
Okay.
She's like, I know, my dad wants me to send it to you, so I'm waiting.
I have never.
I'm going to talk a little bit about the income plan, the income forecaster plan that we do.
That's fine.
Okay, you ready?
It was interesting how these clients read that. They read everything.
Yeah.
They read everything.
Yep.
So that's cool. That's what you want. Okay.
All right, I'm recording when you're ready.
Folks, welcome back. This is Greg Ellie and Steve Lewis of the Prosperity Group Advisors, LLC. That was a beautiful song written by my daughter, Annie Ellie, and a prolific songwriter, and she's got some more stuff that we're going to be putting on there. You can go to Annie Ellie at SoundCloud.com and listen to a lot of her music. Steve, we need to do, and I really want to do this, we need to talk about it. I want to do some downloads where people, if they like some of the songs, I mean, our songs are back from the 80s, our daughters, Annie's songs are more modern, but is there a way we could maybe put something on our website where they can download the music?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And I would encourage you too, since we're on that vein, if you've got questions for us, this show is recorded, so we're not live. We do have operators that are standing by, so you can call in and request things. But, if you want to email us questions or comments or things that you want to hear us talk about on the show or things that we talked about on the show that perhaps you don't understand, feel free to give us a call or email us. You can email Greg at mymoneyissafe.com. You can email me at steve@mymoneyissafe.com. Or you can give us a call at 864-989-0176. And we would love to hear your comments and questions. You were talking, actually in the first segment, you talked about several different risks that exist inside of an income plan or a plan for retirement. You talked about market risk and interest risk and inflation and longevity, and you withdraw too much so you sort of outlive your money. Those are all things that we certainly address as we sit down with somebody, because our goal and our objective is to make sure that you don't outlive your money, that you maximize every opportunity. When you can make it tax-free, we make it tax-free. We do everything that we can to make sure that you are taken care of in those situations. Every single one of those risks, though, that you talked about are things that we discuss and that we focus on, again, to make sure that those risks are minimized within your plan. And, we do put together what's called an income forecaster plan. You sort of alluded to that in another segment as well. And that plan is a very detailed, so it's not just an Excel spreadsheet that has a couple of numbers on it. It's about a 10 or 12 page, maybe 15-page document that goes step by step. It encompasses Social Security, it encompasses any tax-free income, any other forms of income that you might have. Plus, if we're incorporating annuities or anything else into your plan, it takes into consideration every single one of those and your current work situation. And so it lays out year by year exactly the amount of income that you can expect based on everything that is laid out there. So you have a roadmap. I was thinking about this show before, last night we talked about sort of what we were going to talk about today. And I was thinking, if I'm going to take a trip from Greenville, South Carolina to San Francisco, California, I don't think that I'm just going to jump on the road and start driving, because I'll probably wind up in Maine somewhere. I mean, you have to have a plan. You have to have a roadmap that's going to take you there. And I was thinking back in the day when you used to could call AAA and they would, have a turn-by-turn, thing that they could send you, or even MapQuest, you could download it from the internet. But you had step-by-step, turn-by-turn. That's what the income forecaster does for you. It literally shows you every single year. There's charts and graphs and numbers. There's a lot of things that you can digest. but it's a roadmap. It helps you get from point A to point B, and that's what we do. We do it complimentary. It's a service that we offer, and so if that's a plan that you're looking for, you need to give us a call or contact us because we can definitely help you out with that.
You know, and here's the thing, Steve, we can incorporate the Social Security into that income forecaster.
That's
See,
right.
folks, when you're looking at taking money, in some instances, you may be better off starting to draw money from your IRA before you're 70 and a half. Steve, I would say 90% of the people we speak to, they're not planning on touching their IRA until they're 70 and a half.
Right.
So there's really no income plan. They're just doing it because they have to at that point. And you know, they'll get a job or they'll do this or that. And so they're doing it, and they're not really stepping into the pool properly equipped. You know, it's kind of like going into an ice cold pool and you don't have wetsuits on, you know, and you're like one of those polar bear people that you know, they go in there in shorts and it's like 5 degrees below zero. And you don't want to freeze like that, folks. That's for sure.
Well, and you know, you were talking about your 401k, but also the same thing with Social Security. You know, so many people think, well, if I wait, every year that I wait, the benefit becomes more, so why don't I wait longer? And we've talked many times on the show about, in most cases, there's a great opportunity to take that earlier and turn that into an asset.
Yeah. No,
You
you're
know, I
absolutely
mean, there's
right.
so many options, and that's really the point of this show, is that we can customize your retirement plan
That's right.
to meet your needs, and the most important thing is we can do it in a way that takes these market risks, these other risks, the inflation risk and all that, out of it, eliminates those out of the equation. So you're not worried about if United Airlines' stock is going to tank tomorrow because of something stupid they did today. You don't have to worry about that.
You're absolutely right, Steve. And here's the problem. Many of the people that their income plan is they get stuck into a product, and that product has some form of an income rider, and that may not meet their needs.
That's right.
That may not meet their needs. And so, folks, listen to me very carefully. We're looking at a plan to figure out the best way for you to take the income. So today we're offering a Social Security maximization report. We are offering a free income plan. Just give us a call at 864-989-0176. 864-989-0176. One of the big risks, and let's think about this historically. Steve, can you imagine if you were about to retire in 2008? You had $700,000 in the bank, 401k, money that you had accumulated, and in September 3rd happened, and all of a sudden, your plan just took a 50% dive, pretty much, over the course of the next 3 or 4 months. What's your income plan there? You know?
Get a job.
Get a job, right? Well, here's the thing, folks. You don't wait to retire to do that. You take our safe money plan where now your income plan is not at risk. So we're not speculating on an income plan. So that a retirement forecaster is not speculation in the context of, I mean, we don't know the exact amount, but we do know the amount's not going to go down because of the stock market. So we can count at least on those minimum levels that we're expecting, if not more.
You know, we talk a lot about, in the workshops that we do and all of that, we talk about hope so and no so, right?
Right.
Do you want hope so money or do you want no so money? And as you know, when you're 20, hope so is fine. But when you're moving into retirement, you know, in your 40s and 50s and closer into 60, you want no so. You want to know that it's going to be there. You know that it's safe.
Would you explain that a little bit for the benefit of our listeners who might have just tuned in and they've never heard of I know so money or I hope
Sure.
so money?
So hope so money is, you know, you put it out in the market, and man, I sure hope the market goes up. And if I'm at 2008 and the market tanks and I'm 20 years old, okay, I took a 50% hit, that hurts, but you know what, I've got a little bit of time. And this isn't my total plan. This isn't everything I'm banking on. I've got plenty of working years left. I've got plenty of opportunity to make up for that hope so money. And so that's okay. As you get closer to retirement, you want no so. You want to know that what I have is going to be there. Just like you said, how many people have we met every day that we talk to that, you know, 2008, 2001 even, just absolutely decimated their retirement portfolio, and now they've had to rethink and retool everything that they thought because they had all their no-so money in a hope-so situation.
Right.
And it cost them 50%, and now they've got to figure out, how do I make up 50% in the next 2 or 3 years? You can't.
And see, here's the thing. We can protect them from that risk.
That's right.
And let me back up to something that you said. You know, the mentality is that you gave of a 20-year-old that says, well, I'm going to put it all in I hope so money because I got working years. Do you realize, Steve, if they put just a few dollars in I Know So money, they would have accumulated tax-free
That's
income.
right.
And I'm saying this for the benefit of you folks. If you're a young person and you listen to the show, you got a couple of $100 a month, we'll put it in an I Know So account. But here's the beauty, and here's the thing that you need to ask yourself, folks. Do you want to pay tax on the seed or the harvest? You want to pay tax on the seed, not the harvest. Folks, if you have an IRA, you have a 401k, you are paying tax on the harvest. We can show you how to pay tax on the seed, especially if you're real young. But those of you who are in your 50s, you've got some cash sitting around not working for you, we can show you what to do with that money. In fact, Steve, I'll boast about this. For our CD people who have money in the bank and CDs, do you know how much our safe tax deferred account did, which we use as a CD alternative last year?
I don't.
14.3%.
Wow. That was safe.
Safe money,
That's amazing.
14.3%.
Unbelievable.
And so we had a client that put in a few $100,000, and in 3 years they've averaged, and here's why, they had this much liquidity. They decided they had an income plan. They needed an income plan, and so we had just put the money there to park it. They didn't do it for the death benefit. The death benefit hit $400,000 of death benefit on $200,000 that he put in there. So listen to me, folks. If when you put $200,000 in a CD, your death benefit is $200,000. This man put $200,000 in an account that's very, very liquid. He had $400,000 of death benefit, and you know how much he walked away with in 3 years, Steve? $230,000.
Wow.
He made $30,000 in 3 years on this account. And guess what he's doing with the money? He's transferring it to another account for income, and he's not paying tax on the $30,000 that he made. We're putting the deferral out for it.
So he made $230,000. I have a question for you. What happens if the market, the day before he goes to take that money out, the market tanks?
Nothing.
That money's still
He's got
safe.
$230,000
Man,
as
that's
opposed to losing that 230 or more.
Yeah, you can't say that about many vehicles, certainly the ones that we represent.
Folks, this is not gimmicks. If you've been listening to our program for a while, it's not going to hurt to call. We don't bite. We'll give you safe strategies. You can reach us at 864-989-0176. Our office is located 20 Parkway Commons Way, Greer mailing address. We're just a mile from Pelham Road. You can email us at greg@mymoneyissafe.com or steve@mymoneyissafe.com. We are here every Saturday mornings at 7 a.m. and Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. This is your stress-free retirement hour. Tune in as we have one more segment and we talk about what's your income plan. What do you want to talk about this segment? Trying to think. I think we've covered a lot of it. I'm just trying to think. Any stories that might be beneficial to share?
Do you want to go back? It might be good to go back and reiterate that just for one more, you don't have to spend a whole lot of time on it, just the fact that it's not just the $2 million client or the 60-year-old that, we can help anybody. You certainly talked about the, I wanted to say, you talked about the 20-year-old putting $200 a month in, that they could potentially take that money out tax-free. So you're paying money on the tax on the seed, but you're getting the harvest tax-free.
Which is what I said.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I missed that. I apologize.
No, I brought that up.
Okay, I missed it. I was probably typing at that moment, so.
Let's get ready to ask you.
Yep, exactly. So other than that, I don't,
Okay,
do you want to talk about the 4% rule?
Let's go back to the Kaizen. I think that's smart
Okay.
to reiterate that.
Ready
Okay, the
when
song, Joe,
you are. Well, yeah, you mentioned, what's the Andy song?
the first one was second favorite
Okay.
and then this one, let's do Somewhere It's Snowing.
Okay. Recording when you're ready.
Okay. Folks, welcome back. This is Greg Ellie and Steve Lewis of the Prosperity Group, and today we are talking about what is your income plan. And again, folks, to know, you can find us on Facebook. You can actually see this air. Steve, can they actually go on Facebook and are we accumulating the shows where they can look at a previous show?
Absolutely. So if they go to the Prosperity Group and they like the page, they can scroll down and they can see different, each week we record these and put them up. And then also we're putting them up on your YouTube channel as well. So,
Oh, great.
But yeah, they'll be able to access those both ways.
Well, Steve, I'm glad you're doing that because I don't know what you're talking about, but
What is this YouTube that
no,
you're speaking of?
I know YouTube, and you and my daughter know how to do all of that. And in fact, I'm going to start putting some ministry things on YouTube. We started doing some Bible studies, in fact, and some prayer meetings at our office. And so, anybody who wants to come to that, we're going to start posting that we might do that once a month. And we're praying for revival in the upstate and truly revival, as we need a lot of prayer in our nation. And so it's something that's close to my heart that we can talk about. So, not only are we trying to focus on financial health, we want to focus on spiritual health. And I want to focus on health right now for a lot of folks. There's so many of our clients that take so many medications. You see this dealing with Medicare, and we've got to change the way we think and what we put in our bodies. But Steve, we don't have that much time left, but we talked about at the beginning of the show, and maybe people didn't listen or didn't hear this, so we're going to repeat it again. Folks, we have the ability, if you are 65 and under, and you have a net worth of $2 million, we have a bank that will add to your retirement. Now, what am I talking about? If you could appropriate, say, a couple $100,000, and this is not in lump sum, this is over 5 years, we have a bank that will add about $800,000 to your account over the next 11 years. And guess what, Steve? They will be able to draw a tax-free income from this money.
That's amazing. And this isn't the Bank of Aruba or Tahiti or...
No, it's not in Barbados or,
offshore account. This isn't any weird thing.
No, this is, in fact, it's I'm not going to go into the details on the show because it just gets complicated. But it is a bank, and here's the beauty. They are not having to sign a note for the money that the bank puts in it, so there's no liability. So if the market were to crash, the only liability technically that they have is the $200,000 that they put in. But the way we're able to safeguard this, there's really no liability.
Right.
They're able to get all of the value of their $200,000. And the bank, why is the bank willing to do it? Because the bank knows, just about like clockwork, that in 11 years, 15 years, whatever, that they will be able to double their money.
That's right.
Double their money. And if the person dies, the bank gets their money that way, so they're protected either way. So if the person dies, the bank gets their portion, the family gets their portion, and if the people live, which is what we want them to do, they're able to draw the money tax-free.
Yep, and the bank doubles their money, and your amount that you get is unbelievably enhanced, and you have to see the numbers to believe it, but it's pretty amazing, and like you said, it's tax-free income.
Well, we ran a proposal, and I think we mentioned it earlier in the show. Somebody was putting in $300,000, the bank's putting in $1 million,
Right.
and what they were able to do, as opposed to a traditional tax-free plan, I think we ran the numbers. If they had done a traditional tax-free plan, they could have drawn $46,000 a year tax-free. And that's in 15 years, okay?
Right.
The person that we're talking about is like 53, 54 years old. With the bank enhancement, if you will, they'll be able to draw $70,000 a year tax-free. So that's $22,000 a year more using other people's money.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And you know what? It follows Warren Buffett's rule. His number one rule...
Don't lose money.
Don't lose money. And rule number 2?
Is C rule number 1.
See rule number 1. So, folks, we are talking about this in a context of your retirement. Follow that rule of Warren Buffett. Don't lose money. Why? Because your time horizon is shorter. Okay, if you're about to retire and you're looking for strategies, my goodness, folks, why expose yourself to loss? You know what it is? It's greed. I'm sorry, Steve. Many of us get this greed thing because we see the market going up. There are people diving into the market right now. They think this is the right time to get in there because they've watched it surge. You know, since President Trump got elected, it's really had a boost. And, you know, we've got warships going to Korea.
Right.
We've got bombings in Syria.
Russia beating the war drum.
Russia beating the war drum.
Yeah.
How fragile is the markets?
It's incredibly fragile.
And so why put your retirement in that type of an environment if you don't have to?
And you know, one thing you didn't mention is that, and now we don't know for a fact that Warren Buffett has this plan, but what I do know and what you know is for a fact is that the uber wealthy have these kinds of plans. This is how they do these things where they're able to circumvent taxes and to be able to do it legally, but to be able to not pay taxes. So this is a program for the ultra elite that is now available to you, even if you have a $2 million net worth.
And this is true, Steve, because you know this plan has been available for our clients literally for the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something we haven't really talked a lot about.
And nobody talks about it.
No, because you know why? There's a lack of belief factor when we're talking about this. But folks, this stuff works. It's money that can enhance your estate, can enhance your income. And Steve, if they don't need the income, if they just want to pass the money to their family, they can.
That's right.
If they want to set it up and we want to put it outside of the estate because of estate taxes, we can set it up that way and set up a trust where that money gets placed outside of the estate.
Or you want to leave it to a church or some kind of a charity. I mean, there's all kinds of different options that we can help you set up and do it in a beneficial way.
Can you imagine if somebody wanted to do that? They wanted to leave money to the church. They could take X amount of money, and basically what they would be doing is they would be putting a multiplying factor to every gift
That's
they
right.
gave their church or charity.
It's huge.
Folks, listen, we are out of time this week. Tune in next week as we talk about stress-free retirement. And we are on every Sunday morning at Sunday morning at 11 and Saturday morning at 7. And Steve, this has been great. Enjoyed having you on the show as always. And God bless you, folks. We'll see you next week.
Happy birthday, Greg.
Happy birthday, Steve. Good thinking. When you first said that, I was like, and then I realized when we were
I know,
doing the show.
and my wife is watching and she's going, his birthday wasn't last week. Facebook, thanks for joining us.
See you later, folks. Appreciate you.
People think I'm crazy.